like, it is a delicate balance in a locker room. Those you can bring in any guy that's a fringe player that's not
That's
going
what
to
I'm
worry
saying.
about
Yes.
taking any playing time, but you bring in Micah Hyde, that's someone that has a badillion snaps. I don't know,
That's not
bajillion.
even.
I know. I started saying it and I didn't
Make a
walk it back.
T-shirt.
But a bajillion.
Bills by a badillion.
Welcome to the Buffalo Plus podcast, presented by Connors and Ferris. Mike Catalana. I am Jenna Cottrell. Dan Fates, still with a veteran.
Oh. Fine, Mike, for that. Had to sound up on his computer.
That's okay. So we know we're definitely live. Dan is still on dad duty. So please be sure to like, comment, subscribe to the podcast. We always appreciate it. Let us know where you are watching from today. We got a bunch of people in the comments already, so we really appreciate it. All right, we're going to talk injuries, this matchup, where this team is at, Micah Hyde, credit to me, a bunch of stuff coming up for you all. But first off, Mike, how do you think this team is feeling right now?
It's so strange. I remember sitting here going into that bye week when the Sean McDermott thing happened and the Von Miller thing happened, and they were going to Kansas City, you think a year ago. And now you look at where they are, and they have earned the right to be in this spot.
Yeah.
Because this was a team with a big transition in the offseason. And I think, and I don't know if you agree, I think while we're all surprised by it, I think a lot of you at home are surprised at the level that they've played. I think Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott are a little surprised too.
I got to agree with you. I think they thought that going into this season, they didn't think they would be as bad as other people thought that they would be. They had a lot of belief in the guys that were in that room and what they thought and how they pieced together this roster. But I think it would be, if you gave them an honest serum, honest potion, I think they'd be like, even we are impressed with where this team has gone. Because you can say everybody eats and that's great and that's awesome. But sometimes that is not how it works. Sometimes you just need a guy that's an alpha that can take this team to the next level. And that is what we've thought of as Diggs. When you need a play, you have Diggs there. But this team has shown us throughout the season in tough moments that they can rely on other guys in maybe a way that you weren't expecting going in. So I think if you were to say going into this year, did you think this team would be this good? I think even Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott would be like, wow, this is better than what we thought.
They haven't played the Patriots yet, and they've clinched the division. They still have another game with the Jets.
Yeah.
And isn't that going well in Jersey?
I love it.
Yeah, so do I. I can't wait for that Netflix show. It's going to win an Emmy for the best comedy of the year. Don't you think? So you see what's happened in the division. Now, part of it is the division fell apart.
Yeah.
But this team is 10-2. They are 10-2, and they are unbeaten in the division. So regardless of how far everybody else fell apart, if it was a little more normal, they'd still be in total control of the division.
Yeah.
They would be. So the defense has responded. You know, Josh Allen, he is the favorite to win the MVP. And his numbers are good, but we've seen more.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
I think if you were to ask me, like, what do you need to see from an MVP Josh season? It is what we've seen in the past is him putting the team on his back, having to do tremendous play after tremendous play. And let's be real. There have been some tremendous moments throughout the season.
The last 2 weeks.
I was going to say the 4th and 2, the lateral, like all these things. But I think Josh is kind of in the best way, let the other guys around him also pick things up. And I think we haven't seen that before. And Josh was even asked this week, point blank, like, do you think this is your best season? And he said, I think so. He's like, I went in trying to clean up the turnovers, which we've seen that in the results of what the season has been so far. He's tried to be more effective, more thoughtful with what he did with the football. And it's interesting because you're right. Like looking at his numbers, I'm like, yeah, those are good, but we've seen Josh Allen be even more. But the play that he has put together with the team around him that he has done, it's been fun. It's been so fun to watch. And it's been different guys in different moments stepping up in ways I would have never thought.
Imagine somebody saying to you, we are in December and the leader in touchdown catches for this team is Mac Hollins with 4. And then in the next breath, you say, oh, and by the way, Josh Allen is the leader for MVP. Your thought would be, has he run for 2,000 yards?
Yeah.
Like, what has he done? It's just working. This is a well-coached, disciplined, tough, physical team. I think this team can beat the opponent in multiple ways.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of those teams were really good in 2020 and 2021.
2020 was very good, yeah.
Josh was electric, but he wasn't as mature as a player. I think he's got all that going. And when you need him to put on the cape, our friend Sal Majorana said he's been Clark Kent a lot this year. And when he needs to put on the cape to be Superman, he's Superman. He doesn't wear it all the time. I know, Sal.
Wow, good for Sal.
I'm trusting that was your line, Sal. But it's a great line because I think that's been the case. He's been like, okay, like you said, all right, guys, James Cook's cooking. Here we go. We're getting it to Shakir. The defense is making plays. And then it's like, oh, you need a play on 4th and 2? I'm going to take it to the house.
Yeah.
So that is what's been, I think, the most impressive.
It's just so, to me, like, I still think of where we were at going into the season, and the fear was always, they don't have enough. They don't have enough. How will it come together? And just the results of what we've seen in some big moments, some big plays. Like, yeah, Matt Collins. Are you kidding me? Another touchdown on Sunday against the Niners. Like, that's a guy that's floated around the league. He's kind of been a journeyman because other teams look at him and said, you know what, we don't think you could have a substantial enough role on our roster. And in Buffalo, he's putting together.
I like, the whole everybody eats. I like Mac's line. He said he learned it when he was in Philly in 2017 as a rookie, and they won the Super Bowl. And he said the line was, the play doesn't care who makes it. And that's this team.
Put that on a shirt.
It really is.
We should find it in the Buffalo Plus store.
That's it. It'll be there. Jenna, our #1 designer.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. You can tell I'm not a designer, but I try.
But I do think there is something to that and the joy that other players have with them. Now, I want to, not going to be negative to say this because the quarterback is Josh Allen and he might very well win the MVP. But I want to ask you, do you think there needs to be another gear from this passing game? And I know we're in December and it's cold and they're going to play in all those conditions and all. Look, we saw them in a playoff game against the Patriots in the freezing cold, light them up with 7 touchdowns on 7 drives. Like, you can throw the ball in Orchard Park in December. Not every game is that way. I'm wondering if you think that at some point they're going to need more from this passing game. And maybe it's Amari Cooper getting healthier and getting Keon back. They have had a lot of that.
Dalton, yeah.
But I wonder if there's some point when you say it's been working and it does work, but you need to light somebody up with 300 plus yards and scoring and moving the ball with the passing game. And maybe it's still the combination, but I wonder if that gear is still there.
I'm going to ask or answer your question with a question.
Oh.
Do you think that gear doesn't exist for this team?
Well, I think it exists with Josh Allen.
Yes.
And I think it's potentially there with Amari Cooper because he's a heck of a player. It's just been a weird way he's come to this team, really big in that first game. Then he gets hurt and it's been in and out. And, he did have a great assist in the last game. But, getting Keon back out there, Shakir's been good. Maybe this is just not a team that it's be more about quality over quantity in the pass game because they're pretty efficient in the pass game. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they're in that spot, you're down in a playoff game 20-10 in the third quarter. And
who you're going to.
Well, knowing who you're going to. And can we just say, let's go with the passing game?
I do think that level can exist. I think that Khalil Shakir would lead the charge in that because he's my dude. And I just am endlessly impressed by what you got to give him credit. You have to give Khalil Shakir credit.
No question.
Okay, good.
Oh, no. Shakir gets the credit. It's just, it bothers Dan and I that you were so right and we were wrong.
Yeah, you were so wrong.
So, well,
I don't get to take victory laps often, so I'm going to strut.
I was wrong. Dan was really wrong.
Dan was.
And he thinks he can take MVS credit for what he's doing with the Saints. No.
Question.
No, it just highlights how wrong Dan was.
Okay. Is an ACL tear is like an oil change or MVS leading the Bills in receiving yards? Which take is worse?
Oil change. Because MVS has still shown the ability to make plays. It just did not work in Orchard Park.
Yes, yeah, that's fair.
ACL is an oil change, is an all-timer. That is as bad a take as you can have. When it takes the most elite athletes more than a year to come back from.
Yeah.
This ain't Jiffy Lube.
This
You
ain't
pull
Jiffy
in,
Lube.
they try to sell you 9 filters and take you to the next spot. No, this is surgery, rehab,
Yes.
nonstop. And then they get back, and then what do they say about these elite? Maybe
Takes a
another year before
yeah.
they're really back
Yeah,
to who they are.
that is true.
But Dan took it right
Love
to
Dan.
oil change.
Love him.
Move
Okay,
on to the next thing.
let's go into some of the injuries. The Bills injury report from
Yep.
Thursday. So Keon Coleman, wrist injury, once again limited. He's been limited this week. Limited last week. Dalton Kincaid back to practicing, but has been in a limited capacity the last 2 days. And then Quentin Morris, Taylor Rapp, and Curtis Samuel, all like kind of new injuries this week that we've learned about at least. And then Rapp, they're all limited.
Yeah.
So,
it's late in the season. Sometimes Sean McDermott did not seem on Wednesday to be concerned at all about Taylor Rapp because, you know, we're going to talk about Micah, but they bring Micah and they're like, oh, Taylor Rapp's
popped up on the injury report. Yeah.
Didn't think that was the case. Keon told Andy Young from Spectrum, I don't know if anybody else was there, but Andy had tweeted that he said, will you play? And he said, we'll see.
Okay.
You
I
know,
did not
so
see that.
we
So
will
that's good to
see
know.
that,
Yeah.
you know, and then you have Kincaid. It's a knee. Like, if I'm them, I think I'm being very cautious and then maybe bringing him back for Detroit.
I think that's fair. I think what you've seen from Knox over the last couple of weeks in particular makes me feel a little bit more relaxed about not having to rush Kincaid back out onto the field.
Yeah.
And that's something that I honestly didn't know if I would say that a couple weeks ago, but I've seen like Knox had a couple really nice catches against the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, my anxiety around you need Dalton Kincaid back in the lineup feels a little bit different. So I think Knox has done a really good job, but look, you'd love to see Keon back out there as well.
Yeah. That is an element to this offense. I would say, honestly, I think they've missed Keon more than they've missed Kincaid. And I didn't think in a million years I would have said that.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And I think it's because Keon brings something different to the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
And while Kincaid runs a little bit of different routes than Dawson, you know, they do have Shakir in the middle of the field. Curtis Samuel, when has been a little more involved. Max made some plays.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you make up for it a little bit. You know, Kincaid was having an okay season.
Yeah.
But it wasn't game-changing. He wasn't that number one guy that we had talked about.
Yeah.
So let's see. And maybe he wasn't, 100%. So let's see when he's back.
With with Coleman, do you want to see him out there, or do you feel like it's kind of the same strategy with Coleman as it is with Kincaid of, okay, let's kind of slow play this a little bit more because what we've seen from Amari Cooper and Matt Collins and Khalil Shakir and even Curtis Samuel got a little bit involved yesterday.
I guess it depends on where he's going to be. Like if this is going to bother him the rest of the year, and it's not going to be 100%, then you might as well let him go play, right? Unless it's going to get worse or he can't stay on the field. So, we don't really know. It seems like he's ramped up. It's good to see him out there. It's funny. You try to read the tea leaves of, when did they go limited? How much did they practice? What are they coming back from? And you start to think, he'll be ready. And then he's not. And then the other time, guy doesn't practice Wednesday or Thursday, limited Friday. You're like, he's not going to play. Boom, he's on the field on Sunday. So I think it depends. I do think when Josh talked about them playing a little freer, I think it also comes into the mind. I don't think they ever say like, you're hurt, but you're going to play because this is a big game.
Yeah.
No. They trust the trainers and all that stuff. But there are times when somebody in the staff says he can go, and then the coach says, we'll wait another week.
Yeah.
Because I do believe that happens where they say, let's give him one more week and then we'll go. Yeah. And that's that's Brandon Beane. That's everybody making that decision.
Yeah.
But I think that could happen with both those guys this week.
Yeah.
But I do want to see Keon back there.
Yeah, I think he adds some juice.
Yep.
Like contested catches, obviously, was what he was brought in for. And I think we've seen that. And you're right. I think he just does add a different element. But it is so funny. I would be like, oh my gosh, the Bills, if you were to ask me going in like to the season, would you rather have Keon out there? Would you rather have Kincaid? It's like, oh my God, what will the Bills offense look like without Kincaid? And just, it's really funny how a season takes on kind of its own path, its own DNA, because it's never how you expect it.
No.
It's really not.
No. And the players have to go out and perform. And sometimes these things are, we've seen Curtis Samuel with some flashes and all. And sometimes you look at the overall thing and you're like, he's not doing it, but there could be moments. We saw that in moments. So they're all contributing, but I do think there's certain players like Khalil Shakir is, to me, the unquestioned number one on this team. He's whatever your fantasy league says doesn't matter.
Yes.
He's the unquestioned, to me, number one guy. And then everybody else has picked their spots.
Dan put it in a tweet, and I think he said it like in a succinct way of just saying, like, your Bills wide receivers, if you have them in fantasy, they are not going to win you games. But for the Bills, they will win you games.
Yep.
I think fans would like to know this. We talked to Josh this week. We're always at the facility,
right?
Sometimes in the building. And Josh was saying how this team has been different than teams in the past because there are always guys getting in extra work before practice, after practice. Even when we were in the facility on Wednesday, there were players that were practicing well after we were doing interviews and things were wrapping up. And, Josh said even on Tuesdays, which is usually the Bills' day off, players are coming in, whether that be for recovery or watching film. And I thought that was something that, the teams and the guys always talk about how, like, you got to put in the work and all this stuff. But the fact that this season they've been that much more, to me, I was kind of like, huh.
We always joke about we're not in the building. These guys like being in that building.
They do.
Yeah. Now, let's be honest. We're in Western New York. It's wintertime. It's, you might as well come hang at the facility. First of all, they can work out there. They can get treatments there. They could do yoga, everything, right?
Cryotherapy, cupping.
It's pretty nice. It's a pretty nice setup for them. But we've been around it. The vibe with the Bills since Sean McDermott has been there has always been good. I think people who don't know, they underplay culture. They think talent. Talent's great. You need the right culture and the right people. I think this is the best they've had.
And I feel like this year is such a good case study on culture.
Yeah.
Over talent.
It is something
you need both. Like, I don't want to downplay talent, but but
there's a level of talent you have to even be considered to play in this league.
Yeah.
They have some exceptional athletes and great players. But when I say they want to be there, they want to be around each other. We don't really see negativity around this team. Like, it's hard to be negative, even if you're not happy with the amount of snaps you're getting.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure who that would be. Maybe a guy like, and I won't even say a name, but there's players that maybe aren't playing as much as they would have thought. Maybe if they're not feeling great, but like, who are you going to say something to?
Yeah.
They're all rowing in the same direction now.
Yeah. And you see what that has given you. And I thought Von Miller, we talked to him this week, and he said something about this team's mindset that I was like, I'm going to be honest. Sometimes you tune out a little bit. Sometimes.
Because Von will be Von. These guys who just talk and talk and talk.
Just talk.
Can you imagine?
The amount of people that just talk at my face.
I mean, can you imagine just being that way and just kick you down? You just go.
I snapped on Carl, who works at
Channel 4,
because he interrupted me, and I was like, stop interrupting me. And I was like, Carl, I'm sorry, I'm acting out. I actually meant to say that to Mike. But Vaughn was talking about how Sean McDermott about 6 weeks ago instilled this mindset of like, let's not be results based. Let's prepare. Let's put all our work into the preparation of the things, and let's not tie ourselves to the result, and we'll just see how that goes. And obviously it has been going well, but Vaughn talked about how like counterintuitive that is, especially for him. He's won 2 Super Bowls. He's like, I've been in this league a long time. It is wins and losses. But he talked about when he said, drive down anxiety that allows for you to play freer and for the team to kind of, I don't want to say like not worry about it, but you can play free in a way that I think if you're so tied to the results, you almost panic in some situations.
It is interesting the way Von would look at it, because Von has always been a great player. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. The expectations were high. The pay is high. Like, he knows he's got to produce. And he usually has through his career. It's been down certainly since his injury and all, but he has always had to be that guy. But I do believe that this is the way you win. And they just don't go into funks. Like, they lost twice this year. That was the downside of the season.
Mhm.
September, 2 straight losses. Now, granted, it's within the first month of the year, so you're
Yeah.
like, okay. But they do focus on the process and the work, and then the results come with it. Doesn't mean, they could have lost a couple of those games. They certainly could have lost that Dolphins game.
Yeah, that was a close
They're
game.
right there. He takes a 61-yard field goal, but the work hasn't changed. So for Von to recognize that from Sean McDermott, I think is important.
Okay, going into this game against the Rams. Is this a trap game?
Yeah, I would say potentially it is. And this team has guarded against that.
Mhm.
But, the Rams desperately need a win. Now, you could say that about the Niners. You could say that about basically, it feels like every team the Bills are playing. The Colts need it. They all need it. But you are coming off 2 really emotional wins, great wins. They had the bye in the middle. And then you've got the Lions the next week. It is, Stafford and Kupp.
Yeah.
And
Nakua,
right?
yeah.
They have some quality players on this team, and they are 6-6 and in it. But I think there's a potential to be a little looser, but honestly, not with this team. Like, Josh talks about them playing freer. I think the focus is there. That doesn't mean they will win the game, but it just means I don't think they're going to go out there flat and not looking to play. First of all, they're going to have the crowd advantage in this game, which on the road really does fire up a team.
Yeah. I cut away so people didn't know.
I was talking a lot.
No, I just
yawned.
I just had to sneak in a yawn. It's fine.
No, I do think there's the potential for it. This team, though, has dealt with all of, with any moment. They just keep winning.
I do get nervous that it's a letdown spot.
Yeah.
Just because you have the emotional high of winning 5th straight AFC East title, Snow Angels, and then you have the Lions ahead. And this is a Rams team that they dealt with a lot of injuries earlier on the season. They went 1-4 to start off the year, very injured. Now they're back to 500. They are in it in the NFC West. They're trying to duke it out. So it's a long trip.
Yep.
Like, I do get concerned about what that can mean. And so, but also, the Rams have to account for Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And Sean McVay knows the challenge that is.
No question. I mean, look, Stafford's great quarterback, great thrower of the football. At this point of his career, he's not Josh Allen. No. Like, he could light you up throwing it, and Nakua can catch it, and Kupp can catch it, and all those things. But Josh beats you in so many ways, and you can tell what it does to an opponent when they're going. And then he's like, look at the guy. Look at his size. Look at the way he plays. Like, he said, we'll talk to the other guys who've played against him. Let it know. It's like, it's the story of the Josh Allen that's coming to LA this week. Is the way it is.
I love Sean McVay saying, too, in his press conference this week, he's stronger than you think. He's faster than you think. But something that I think is kind of counterintuitive is just, we think of Sean McVay as this master play caller, all these things. The Rams have scored 30 plus points once this season, and McVay can be conservative.
He's one of the most conservative coaches in the league.
It's honestly very shocking to me.
He is not big on the 4th down conversions or going for it on 4th down. He kicks field goals. He coaches a bit like it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
He just does. Now, he's had a lot of success. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He is a brilliant play caller.
Sorry.
But he does coach conservatively. And I wonder Sunday, does he open it up a little bit? Mm-hmm. Because he's like, 4th and 3, let's just pick. Mid-first quarter, it's a 3-0 Bills lead. Rams have 4th and 3 from the 19-yard line.
Yeah.
His normal way, kick that field goal.
And you're just not going to beat this Bills team with field goals.
They would be thrilled to see the field goal
unit. Yeah, that is true. I just think that that's something that I feel like most fans because I feel like a lot of people East Coast don't always
Yep.
watch Rams games. I think of Sean McVay as so forward thinking. The fact that he is more conservative about not going for it and for settling for field goals, I think is just something that is surprising to me. So that is something that
Yeah.
and you're right. I think if Sean McDermott sees the field goal unit trot out onto the field, that's always what you
You're
say when
happy.
it's something negative. But yeah.
I want to mention a comment here. Rich Lopez says, I agree. It's the best I've seen a Bills fan since 1986. I went through the bickering Bills. Oh, yeah. I feel this is one of the best I've seen. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, look, we can give those old Bills teams, they did bicker. They were feisty as a group. Like there was a lot of stuff that went on, but man, they were tough.
Mhm.
I mean, you talk about coming back. Like we just watched
I
that Niners team try to come back from a Super Bowl. Bills did it 3 times. They came back after losing a Super Bowl.
I can't imagine, like, emotionally, physically, that is so impressive.
Yeah, they did it in different ways too. They
Yeah.
had great seasons. They had the bad one where they fell apart at the end and ended up playing in the game with Houston and had to come back and then went on the road and beat Pittsburgh and went on the road.
Yeah.
Even then, they would beat up on the Dolphins. Went down in Miami and took care of it. They won on a Carlton Bailey interception in a playoff game against the Broncos with John Elway. I mean, they
Wow.
beat Marino. They beat Elway. They beat Montana. That's who they beat. You know,
Wow. It's
those 3 to go to the Super Bowl.
it
So,
is so impressive.
but that team did bicker a lot. They had some egos they dealt with. Yeah.
I wonder what it would be like if that team we had the same access to that team as we do now.
And
Like,
if
with the media coverage and, like, it's just so different now.
they expressed everything in newspapers and television.
So
They
it's
didn't
so
have
wild.
social media. I wonder if it would have I used to think it would have helped them, but man, and Thurman
Not
would have been on
Instagram.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Jim would have been I mean, they got after each other on TV, on each of their own shows saying stuff and then had to
It's
apologize.
wild.
But those guys, they're all wearing gold jackets though,
Hey.
man.
Yeah.
They were awesome.
Want to give thanks to Deanna Franco as well as Chris Beckham Music for their super tips.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. Chris Beckham, I enjoy tuning into your podcast. Go Bills. Deanna, I've been a fan since the 70s. That's pretty cool. We always
Great.
appreciate that. But yeah, I just think that for this game going into Sunday, it's just this team is very talented. I just guard against the trap game a little bit. And then also let's just talk about some of the stars on the Rams because I think Cooper Kupp you think of immediately and Puka Nacua and kind of the tandem that they can be on offense. And that will be a challenge for Christian Benford and Rasul Douglas are really good. But that's something where you can see how effective they can be.
They are excellent receivers, great route runners, physical players. Puka's big.
Yeah.
Like he
is. I feel like you don't.
Well, Puka Nacua sounds like a little guy.
Does it sound like a Pokemon? I don't think so, but he is like, so I thought it was very interesting. You did a great interview with Kurt Sandoval, who works at the LA station ABC, covers the team. And he was talking about the dynamic between Cooper and Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
And that was something that I thought was really cool.
Big brother, little brother workout the way it is. I mean, the Cooper Kupp has been an incredible player in this league. But I will say this coming into the game, you mentioned, Rasul and Benford. I never worry about wide receivers against the Bills.
Yeah.
They are just really good.
They really are. They really are.
They have excellent corners. And
I worry about the run defense, though.
Of course. And Kyron Williams is a very good player. He has put the ball on the turf.
Yes.
He had a bad stretch. And that is something, I always reference this. Fred Jackson, I used to do a show with Fred, great former Bill. I see that 22 on the field now. I think of Fred. And he said, when you put the ball on the field in the pregame meetings and everything, they're saying this guy will give it up and they'll go for the football. So, but he is their run game. Like, take a second and look at the numbers and you're like, where are the rest of the guys?
Yeah.
Like it is one back that gets 90% of the carries when they run it. He is an effective player. And on defense, they've got Verse is a rookie. He is.
Oh, I liked him coming out.
He only has 4.5 sacks, but he is among the leaders in pressure rate. He will you will find him like he's the guy. The Bills' offensive line has done a great job protecting Josh.
They have.
But Verse is an outstanding player. And they've got Young and oh my God, my mind is slipping. A second round pick Fisk this year, who they also got out of Florida State. So they've got a really good young defensive line. But they are young.
Yeah.
And their secondary's been okay.
Mhm.
So I think the Bills can get after this defense.
I think the Bills' offensive line, the use of Alec Anderson, what that has done for just the run game. I think sometimes we forget how good of a season James Cook is also having.
Yeah. It's maybe not total numbers, but at times he's been really, really good.
Mhm.
And by the way, I always think of for Alec Anderson, if sometimes it goes by, you would say, number 70 is eligible on this play.
Yeah.
That's him running down the field. And he's a character. Sean was laughing about him.
Yeah, because I can't remember who was asking, how would you describe Alec Anderson?
Yeah.
And Sean just started laughing. And then Josh Allen was asked the same question, and he said, I don't even think Alec could describe Alec.
He is a fun-loving guy, but he also will get after it, gets feisty in the games.
Yeah.
But he has been a weapon in that spot, that extra offensive lineman.
He plays with a nastiness.
Yeah.
He's a very passionate guy. He almost kind of reminds me of Spencer Brown in terms of like, I think he, in the words of Duke Williams, wants contact.
They're going to throw one to him, aren't they?
Yeah, at some point.
It's happening this week.
Really?
Happening this week.
Okay. We're going to clip it.
Hollywood Alec Anderson's going to catch one in LA.
I believe he did just get engaged.
Look at that.
I believe so.
Engaged quarterback to engaged offensive lineman completion here.
Yeah. All right. We'll see. Did Dion have? No. Where was the Dion touchdown? The last one.
One was
I think it was
the
Jets. Yeah.
But was that from Barkley?
Maybe
Why do I think it was from Matt Barkley when Josh was hurt as a rookie?
Maybe it was.
Dion could use another one.
Love Dion.
Yeah.
He was named the Bills nominee for Walter Payton Man of the Year award. His third straight time being nominated for the award. That's for the work done in the community. You'll see like the guys wearing the patch. I'm sure you all know about that if they win the award, but really cool. An incredible honor. And he talked about how important that is to him. All right. Speaking of some Bills that have been around for a while.
Micah Hyde?
Micah Hyde is back.
I think Dan had talked about this a lot before, so we'll give Dan some credit for it. I was on the case of thinking it would have been at this time of the year, it might have been roster related, like something were to have happened.
Yeah.
I would say the Mike Edwards thing not working out at all was big.
At all.
I mean, he's gone, so they really don't have depth at safety. Where are you going to find somebody more attuned to what they do and available and not coming off an injury? Like he's had the neck, but he was fine. He played last year, and just a guy you don't worry about. You know, some of the guys were saying is you can't just bring anybody into this locker room. Well, you know, at times late in the season, you're bringing in players. If you have an injury, like you got to bring in the right kind of guy. But we're not just talking about any guy. We're talking about Micah Hyde.
You can't bring a guy like it is a delicate balance in a locker room. You can bring in any guy that's a fringe player that's not going to worry about taking any playing time. But you bring in Micah Hyde, that's someone that has a badillion snaps. I don't know.
That's not even.
I know. I started saying it and I didn't
make
walk
a t-shirt.
But a bajillion.
Bills by a badillion.
Wait, I kind of love that. But no, I forgot what I was going to say.
See?
It happens.
Jacob, one of our interns is here, and he asked, what happens if you lose your train of thought? It's never happened to me.
Oh, wait.
It happened to Jenna.
Yes. I don't even remember what we were talking about.
We were talking about Micah.
Oh, yes. He's taken a bajillion snaps.
Yeah.
So I understand. We talked about it when we did our emergency pod on Wednesday. Just like initially I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. But then talking to Micah, talking to McDermott, and just seeing where Micah was at kind of at
Yeah.
physically and him being signed to the practice squad and how he was essentially just saying like, I want to do whatever role I can for this team. I want to be there as a mentor. If older guys need my help, if younger guys need my help. And so to me, it felt a little bit different of like, I don't expect him to just walk out on the field. Now, great insurance policy if there were to be an injury.
Yep.
But I think that that's kind of the best of both worlds of having a guy that knows so much about this team, about this defense. And also, if you need him, he is there.
Yeah. Sandra says she's right. Sandra King. They didn't clean out his locker or give his number away. I knew he'd be back.
Yeah.
Well, it certainly left the door open. Ralph Wilson Sr. said, I think Micah is here to show Bishop what's up. Now, that's not a slight on Bishop, Cole Bishop, but he is a rookie.
He is a rookie. And I think that that's just a fact.
Yeah.
He is a rookie. And if you're going to be playing some very meaningful playoff games, I would rather take someone that knows the defense than someone who might have a tremendous upside, but is very, very green. And that can absolutely be exploited in a way that someone that's a little bit more steady doesn't have those as much of those ups and downs.
So I've referenced this before, that when you cover the NFL, players' ages amongst their sport go pretty rapidly.
Mm-hmm.
30 is, oh boy, you're plus 30, right? So a lot of times I joke that I relate to the older players on the team.
Yeah.
Like Lorenzo Alexander or Mitch Morris. I felt more peer-like with them.
Yeah. Especially Lorenzo Alexander.
Yes.
He's like an old soul, I feel like.
Micah, I feel like, oh, older player, blah, blah, blah. And then sometimes I have to take a moment and I go, he's Jenna's age.
But he talks like a guy that's...
Well, in football, he's
old.
My age.
Yeah.
In football. Because in football, it's like, and he's done. He said, this is it, and I'm done. He's playing out this year.
It sucks.
What?
That like when I first joined this team, most of the players were my age. And now I'm like, oh my God.
I always had it in my head, like, oh, there's players always older than me when I was covering the team. And then one year I was like, Doug Flutie. And I looked at the numbers, and Doug Flutie is like a week younger than me or something. And that was it. I was older than every player.
Yeah.
And then I was older than coaches. And then I've been older than all the coaches.
That must hit different.
Well, thank the Lord Marv was there so long.
That's true.
God bless Marv. We quote him all the time.
That is
99-year-old Marv Levy. But then the other guys come in, and Sean is only 50.
Yeah, I think he's in his early 50s. Look that up. Also, we have a super tip from Carl Thaman, Micah and Maddie back with the M&M show Talk and Drip. That was a really fun show. I do not know if they're going to be doing that and doing a new edition of that.
Maddie Glab on the
Maddie
Bills,
Glab and Micah, that was a very fun show. So I'm not sure on that.
Micah at some point should be doing some TV or whatever media.
We got a tip from Matt Tupper. This is the year.
Yeah. Matt, I'm with you.
Matt.
I think I will say this. New Orleans has a lot of craziness. So Bills fans, it doesn't really matter where you go.
Sean is 50.
He is 50, but I don't love New Orleans that much. I mean, there's a lot of fun. You guys will have a blast. If we're in New Orleans for the game, we're going to be working a lot.
I don't care where it is.
Right, that's what I'm saying is I want them to go. It wouldn't have been my first choice.
What's your first choice?
Honestly, I think I'd probably I think Miami is great for a Super Bowl. I think Miami is great. I think actually, in a way, it depends. It's just, there are places that it's kind of wild. Like San Francisco, you did a Super Bowl in San Francisco.
Yeah, but it was tough because all the media events were out of San Jose, which was cool, but it's
and then you have
far.
In Phoenix, when it's in Phoenix, everything is spread out there. So it's very different.
You don't think Vegas?
You know what? We didn't go. Everybody I know who covered or went to that Super Bowl loved it.
That's cool. Yeah, I can see that. I don't love Vegas, but it's fun to go to.
But for the Super Bowl, it seemed like it worked really well.
Oh,
and everything is there.
Chancey's Snack. Is Dan's 21-day window open yet? That's a good
funny.
comment. That is a good comment.
Dan is doing great.
Yes, baby's doing well.
Are great.
Renee is doing great. Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you all for
Yes.
asking. Is Jenna going to put old Mike on the practice squad? Ralph Wilson Sr.
At some point, I'll come back. When I'm done,
We
then I'll
were
come
literally,
back on the
can we
practice
tell
squad.
them that?
Go ahead.
We were in the car ride back and Mike was equating himself to what Micah Hyde did. Like if years from now, if the Bills went back to the Super Bowl, like would I be okay if he just came right back in?
And said, but wait a minute, if I came in, now Micah didn't do any of this, but if I came in and said, oh, you guys have been doing all the work this year. I'm going to host everything. I got the Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah.
What did I say?
You said you would love it. You said it would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
hey, everybody eats.
That's right. Well, it's usually Jenna leading the way there.
I usually.
Hey, by the way, I'm going to be on Good Morning Football Overtime.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not the NFL Network version of it. It's like a syndicated version. So it's on in Buffalo. It's on everywhere.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's on the CW in Rochester. I think in Buffalo the same. Might be on Fox in Buffalo. I'm not sure. 10:30 is when I'm on tomorrow talking about the Bills. So that's kind of cool. They want us on there. I'll be talking a little Buffalo Plus and all. So
we love that.
Yeah.
Bills by a badillion.
See?
Sorry, someone who put that. I can't find it. Sorry. It's flying by.
Yeah.
But someone said Jenna is funny tonight. Wow.
She's funny. Jenna is funny.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you are. You are funny. And sometimes
so nice.
You know what? You are funny in some ways. It's like I react the same way I do when my wife says something funny, Jenny. It's like I go, oh my, and she looks at me like, what? Why are you saying it like that?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I feel like I'm very subtle when I'm
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's that. All right. Someone Hiram Moore said you guys must be high. We're not high.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, we should do predictions and then credit to me.
Okay, let's start your prediction.
I love them in this game. I know there's always the possibility. I think they get out to LA. Listen, playing in the snow, fun. Man, this team's going to feel energized being on a fast turf.
Mm-hmm.
Nice weather. Actually, I think the weather's, it's going to be like 70 something. It's open air on the sides there. I think they're going to get out there and go to work. I think the passing game gets going in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is there an Alec Anderson catch, there's a deep ball to Amari Cooper in this one.
Oh, okay.
They're going to get deep to Amari.
I think James Cook is going to eat early and often, in my opinion. I have the Bills winning this game 30-17. The Bills have done an excellent job of putting up points this season. And 30 seems like just another game. So for me, I think that the Bills are the better team. I think that they'll have the opportunity to show that without having to deal with some of the elements that they've had in past games, aka last week. And I think James Cook is going to have a big game. And the Rams defense is not great against the run. They really struggle with that. So it seems like the perfect opportunity for Cook. And then also, I just think where this team is at, I know that the Rams are still fighting for the NFC West, but the Bills are just the better team, more complete team, in my opinion. So I have the Bills winning 30-17. We do want to mention Dan Fates' score. He has this as a very close game, 30-27, but still having the Bills pull out the win.
I think that's because Dan's probably going to say take the points because they're getting 4.5.
Yeah.
It's an interesting line.
I was surprised by that.
Yeah. I have it 31-17. So I went way farther than you did at 30-17.
So brave.
Yeah. No, I like them. And I always say better coach, better quarterback, he'll win. Yes, I think Josh Allen is better than Matthew Stafford, but he's a hell of a quarterback. The Sean McVay thing is really fascinating because McVay's got the hardware.
Mm-hmm.
He's got all that. But, right now, and maybe this will be for another day, I don't think he'll win it. Sean McDermott should absolutely be up for the coach of the year.
He's not, I feel like, in the conversation at all.
Mike Tomlin should be there. No question.
I agree with
that team. I mean, that team is winning big.
I think it's Dan Campbell.
Yeah. But why Dan Campbell more than Sean McDermott? Everybody buried this Bills team.
I'm just saying, like, narrative-wise,
I did it again. You said it, and I argued with the point.
With the point that, like,
other people are making.
Believe it or not, I do not set the odds for.
And I'm wondering who, you could say, and Arizona's had a pretty good year. Minnesota, everybody loves what Minnesota has done. I think Minnesota, maybe because they weren't expecting it.
Yeah, I mean,
a little
it's
bit.
Sam Darnold. Like, I think you need to give them some props.
Yeah, absolutely. But Sean
That's
McDermott
a tough division too.
took a team that all the experts were taken out of the division winner, and they basically destroyed the division this year. So,
yeah.
So I give him credit. I don't think he'll win, but I give him credit.
Carmen DeJesus. I love Biffalo Plus. A little bit of a typo, but I still love that. All right, let's do your credit to me. You want to start?
I'll start. I think this is, what is today? December 5th? Yeah.
Which, sorry to interrupt you, but I believe your anniversary at Wham is on Saturday.
December 7th, a day that will live in infamy.
How many years is it?
Well, it was, it's been so long. It had different call letters back then. It was WOKR, WHAM now. Oh, shut up. It is 1987. So that's 37 years.
I don't do math, but that sounds right.
37 years. It was the end of a strike season. And they told me, now I come from Binghamton, but they had told me then, if the Bills win, we're going to send you to Philadelphia to cover the next game. Because I'd grown up going to Eagles games. My family's at the games. And the Bills lost that week, and they got eliminated from the playoffs. But then they came back the next year and made the AFC Championship game, and then went on. Then they had a year when they lost, and then they came back and went to 4 straight Super Bowls. So it was a lot of fun. But yeah, 37 years.
37. That's impressive, and a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, yeah.
Got the gold jacket to prove it.
I know. I should have worn it.
I would wear that every day if I were you. Okay, let's go back to your
credit to me.
Yes.
So it's December the 5th. And credit to me, I'm done with my Christmas shopping.
Wow.
I sat there and looked, and it was based on the Bills schedule. I was like, listen, first of all, there's certain things I always get. My father-in-law, he's probably not watching. You're getting that bottle of B&B. He loves that B&B. He knows it's coming. He loves it. He'll knock that thing off in a short period of time. But I know. So I'm like, why am I waiting till December 18th to buy this thing? Buy it. I got to put away. Jenny's taken care of. I got my wife. I planned that one out. My daughters got it all taken care of. I got a couple little things to take care of.
Yeah.
But December 5th, done. Credit to me.
That's smart.
And good gifts too, because I wasn't like rushing.
Well, you're similar to me, where your daughter's birthday is a couple weeks before Christmas.
Yes.
And Zach, my fiance's birthday is 2 weeks before Christmas. So that is the challenge.
He's December
15th, 16th. 16th. His sister's is the 15th.
Okay. My daughter's is December 14th.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. So that always makes it challenging.
Yeah, it is. It's far enough away that listen, it's not like it's December 26th.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, you get, if you're on the 26th or 24th, you're getting those combo gifts.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm a January birthday, and it's always the combo.
Really?
Oh my God. Yeah. You just do the sales after Christmas.
Oh yeah. But I mean, you've gotten a Christmas gift and then you get a birthday gift. Oh yeah.
Sometimes I just get Christmas gifts and like a small gift. It's not about the gifts, Mike.
Okay.
But I expect a gift. Just so we're abundantly clear.
Yeah.
Also, I've always wanted to be working on my birthday. January 29th is my birthday. I've always wanted to still be covering the Buffalo Bills.
It hasn't happened yet, has it?
I've worked, my birthday's been on an AFC Championship game. I think it's been, but I have not, yeah.
Well, the only AFC Championship game, well, you were working. Wait a minute. You're talking about when they played against the Chiefs?
I'd have to look that up, but I know I did work a game on my birthday.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yes, I'm trying to think. Oh, you know what? You're talking about Christmas gifts. I don't know if people do this, but this is what I do, is I always put in, credit to me, I have a process for getting my Christmas money together to buy gifts for my family and my friends, my loved ones, is that I pay all my medical bills out of pocket, and then I put everything into my HSA at the end of the year to get all that money back. So it's like I have free money to use for the gifts.
That's That's actually, look, somebody could argue you take the money. Listen, we all know you'd spend the money on something else. That's just anybody would.
Yeah, no,
But
I
it's
know.
nice. It's like almost like a tax return.
Yeah.
Like you're counting on it and so
I try to be an adult sometimes.
you've become more prepared
I have a
for
house.
those
We have a
things.
house now.
I
Getting
know.
married. It's honestly nuts.
I
Crazy
know.
to me. But yeah. My actual credit to me that I was thinking of was as we get older, we don't like to try new things, but I am going to a hot yoga class with one of my girlfriends tomorrow, and I'm absolutely terrified. But I was like, I can't let that stop me from trying new things. So we'll see how that goes. But
Wow. How long's the class?
an hour 15. I know. That seems ridiculous to me,
Okay.
but that's.
So I have to admit something here. Not that I've taken hot yoga classes,
Mhm.
but we had a bet here, and I'm still a game behind because the Bills won't lose, and there's no reason to pick against them. So that's fine. They can go. I hope they go 15-2, and everybody's happy.
Yeah.
But we have a bet that could include a Pilates class.
Yes.
And I've never taken a Pilates class. Now, there was nothing put into I go to the gym. I have my classes that I take is great.
Yeah.
I have never done a Pilates class. Now, there was nothing about the bet that said whether it had to be like your first time doing it. So I have inquired about Pilates to see if I could see how I do in case I do lose the bet and I am in last place.
Yeah, you better get ready.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, I know.
It is one of those things where, when you're working out and your legs like start shaking and it's like you're embarrassed by your own body where you're like, lock in. Like, this is a little bit much.
Well, all my friends, and most of them, when I say friends, these are people younger because, my age, there's some people like, I do a lot more than they do and they act like they do a lot.
Yeah.
But they'll be like, oh my God, I felt it for like 3 days afterward.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Also, someone, Jay Sartori, you will get your ass kicked.
I know. I'm getting myself prepared for it, but at least I feel like if I could at least sort of get
you should take some classes.
Yeah, I think I'm going to. But I was talking about it with the people who sort of run the gym, and I was drinking a beer at the time.
Yeah, they're like, that's great. That'll
help me
really well.
Yeah.
Also, someone said, the TN Bills fan, you can't use an HSA for anything that is not health related. No, it's my medical bills.
And then the money.
And then I get reimbursed for the money that I paid. That's what you're supposed to use your HSA for. Yeah. Okay. I just wait till the end of the year to do that so I can use the money. I'm not like committing fraud. Like,
right. Because I think, are you supposed to put that back in your HSA?
What do you mean back? You can only carry over. This is terrible podcasting for the record.
I just wanted to see if Jenna was committing a felony live on the podcast.
I don't think.
I don't think so. No. You get reimbursed for it. Yeah.
Yes. Don't listen to that guy. He doesn't know how useful HSA is. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate that. Because now I'm panic sweating.
But I do put money aside for Christmas, specifically for Christmas.
That's smart. I don't do that.
Apps.
Oh, yes. There's some really good. Can we say?
It's now Opportune.
Yeah, it's a great app.
Yeah. And my daughters use it. We'll use it. Jenny uses it. And it's like boom, boom, boom. Because I don't touch it. And then I'm like, Christmas, boom, boom, boom.
That's good. Buffalo Plus Finance. That's what Bullseye said. We got you.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? No.
No, I think we're good. And so we will be in LA. Jenna and I are going out there.
We will also be in Detroit.
And we will be in Detroit. Yes.
So we have a lot of mileage.
It means Jenna's got to put up with me a lot.
I texted Matt Beauvais from Channel 7 and was like, so please come to dinner. just please.
We'll see if he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he can talk too.
Yeah, but that's great. I can just not talk. I can just zone out. It's actually quite nice. Not high, just can do that on my own. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for watching. This podcast was entirely too long. So thank you so much for watching. We always appreciate it. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It really does mean a lot to us as the Bill season continues on. For Dan Fates, who is not here, still on dad duty, we miss him. We're really excited for them, and we're happy everyone's doing well. He will be back with us shortly. Mike Catalana, I am Jenna Cottrell. Thank you so much for watching. We will catch you next time here on the Buffalo Plus channel, presented by Connors and Ferris.